There have been 403 new cases of coronavirus in Victoria and 5 people have died. Here to take a closer look at the numbers is our analyst Casey Briggs. Hi there, Casey. So we were warned to expect more deaths in Victoria, and news today that 5 people have died overnight.
Yeah, that's right. We're seeing a lot of economic figures, but of course we wouldn't be in that situation economically today without the figures, health figures that we're seeing at the moment. 5 deaths in Victoria, 3 of those linked to aged care homes. 2 of them are not, but one of the ones that's not is a man aged in his 50s. A relatively young man has died with COVID-19, at least compared to the other people that have died. This is one of the worst days we've seen nationally in terms of the number of deaths. Not the worst day, but it's certainly up there. And it means now that Victoria has recorded 49 deaths through this pandemic, overtaking now New South Wales in total numbers for 133 across the country. The number of people in hospital is still going up. The number of people in a very serious condition is still going up. This number is not going to stay at 49 for long. We also saw 403 infections recorded today, and you can have a look at what that looks like on the curve. It's pretty clear that the curve is still climbing. We're still seeing more cases on a sort of average basis. I'll just show you the 7-day average and it becomes abundantly clear. We're looking now at an average of almost 360 cases every day, averaging out the past week or so. This is still climbing. The Premier Daniel Andrews talks about the numbers being stabilising a little bit. What we're seeing is a stabilising in the growth rate. The numbers haven't plateaued on a sort of daily infection number basis, but at least we're not seeing the slope of this curve get steeper and steeper and steeper, at least not at the moment. So that's a good sign. That means clearly there is downward pressure on these numbers, but clearly not quite enough yet. The government seems to think it's got the policy settings, the control measures almost right. They're nearly there. Perhaps a few more tweaks will be all that's needed rather than sort of citywide restrictions that are clamping down in an even harsher way. That's why we're seeing masks being made compulsory from today. That should have some impact, and some encouragement on people to better follow self-isolation rules. The Premier's announced that some money, $300, will be available to people who can't access sick leave once they get a COVID-19 test. All of these little sort of tinkering tweaks, it seems the government hopes will have enough of an impact rather than a need to go tougher. We also heard an update on the reproduction number, the effective reproduction number. This is the number that, remember, if it's above 1, it's the epidemic is on average growing. If it's below 1, it's on average shrinking. And the government still thinks it's coming down near to about 1. We don't know exactly what number that is, but it sounds like they think a little bit more effort, a little bit more compliance with social distancing will tip them over that ledge. The question, though, is how long will it take? Because we're 2 weeks into stay-at-home orders now. The longer this curve climbs up, the more time you need on the other end to have it reduced back down to very small numbers. Is that 6-week lockdown that Melburnians are living through at the moment realistic? Or will it need to be extended? Certainly the economic forecasts that the federal government presented today, they're assuming it's a 6-week lockdown. I don't know that we can be so sure that it won't need to be a little bit longer.
So 19 new cases in New South Wales, Casey, slightly higher figure than yesterday. Are they all connected to known outbreaks, briefly?
Yeah, Ros, a little bit higher, and no, they're not. They are 3 of them have an unknown source of transmission at this point. They're still being investigated. So what we're seeing, yeah, a little bit of a lift. Still the numbers hovering in the teens, the high teens at the moment. Remember, though, they did that as well in Victoria for more than a week before we saw numbers exploding there. This cluster is the big concern at the moment. Thai Rock restaurant at Wetherill Park, 46 cases. That includes cases linked to Our Lady of Lebanon Church. We don't know. 9 new cases today. We don't know where those 9 are, if they're parishioners, if they're close contacts, how close they actually are to this restaurant. And that's actually a pretty important factor here in exactly how under control that cluster is. We really need to get a better handle on that cluster.
Thanks, Casey.